Hello, sports fans, and welcome to Sports with Eric Hicks. I am your host, Eric Hicks. Today, guys, we're going to talk about NFL free agency. Now, of course, you know I've talked about this for about 2 weeks now, but I do have some more information now. The Pittsburgh Steelers have reportedly released James Harrison, their five-time Pro Bowl linebacker. It was reported on the Bleacher Report that the team wanted him to take a 30% pay cut. Well, unfortunately for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he didn't want to do that, so they did officially release him. So I'm going to show you some of James Harrison's stats while he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He first started with the Pittsburgh Steelers back in 2004. He is a two-time Super Bowl champion, 2008 Defensive Player of the Year, and of course last season he did register 70 tackles, 6 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. Now, of course, that was kind of low from what he normally registers with tackles. But, you know, of course, with the knee injury that he did have, that might have sidelined him just a little bit. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to move on without their Pro Bowl linebacker. I was also looking on ESPN a couple of days ago, and I did get a chance to see Josina Anderson. She basically talked to James Harrison about what teams he was looking to play for soon as he left Pittsburgh. One of the teams that he did mention was the Denver Broncos. I think if he did get with the Denver Broncos, he would provide extra help on the defensive side, especially with the pass rush. James Harrison is known for like a 3-4 type of defense, and that's pretty much, I think, what Denver's running right now. So that would be really good for the Denver Broncos to have that piece there. He brings veteran leadership, plus he brings the hardware with 2 Super Bowl rings. So I think that would be a good look for the Denver Broncos. Now, here's another team that I think he might replay from. You know, James Harrison is from Akron, Ohio. So the Cleveland Browns would be one that I think that he possibly might want to play for, since that's kind of close to home. The Cleveland Browns have the highest cap space to sign many players. The Cleveland Browns were also on record for going after the Baltimore Ravens' Paul Kruger and Cliff Averill of the Detroit Lions. Now, of course, nothing will be decided until March 12th, when free agency period does begin. But that would be one team that I think James Harrison, would consider, since it's close to home. Now, of course, I was checking on the Bleacher Report about probably maybe an hour or so ago, and I did hear that he would also be interested in playing with the arch rival Baltimore Ravens. Yes, the arch rival Baltimore Ravens. Now, that would be a good look for Baltimore also. Here's why. If they don't sign Paul Kruger and they get a chance to get James Harrison, if the price tag is right and the Baltimore Ravens have the exact amount of cap space to sign this player, he will provide extra pass rush, better to me than Paul Kruger. Now, Paul Kruger was a beast last season with the sacks he had. He registered 9 sacks leading the team. He was extra help for Ray Lewis when they left, when Ray Lewis was hurt. So if they could get James Harrison with Danielle Ellaby, that would provide a cushion of defense, since Ray Lewis is going to be gone, with him retiring. So I think that would be a great pickup for the Baltimore Ravens. But we're going to have to see. Like I said, Baltimore's right now has a lot of work to do trying to get Danielle Ellaby. They just got Flacco done, so they're still working their magic. And speaking of the Baltimore Ravens, it was reported on the Bleacher Report that they also wanted their Pro Bowl wide receiver, Anquan Boldin, to take a $2 million pay cut from what he was actually going to receive this year, which was his $6 million base salary. Well, the wide receiver feels that he shouldn't have to take a pay cut. And his quarterback, Joe Flacco, $120.6 million quarterback, agrees with him. He feels that he should stick to his guns and not take a pay cut. Well, my thing is, with Joe Flacco, having such a big contract, I don't understand why he possibly wouldn't do what Tom Brady did, take lesser amounts so the team can have more money to sign their player over. But Joe felt that he was worth, the contract, and, he has that contract now. But with Anquan Boldin, Baltimore wouldn't have won that Super Bowl without Boldin. He had 104 yards in that game, a touchdown. He really set the tone late in the game with Baltimore. As you know, during the Super Bowl, when the second half began, how the lights went out, they killed Baltimore's momentum. The San Francisco 49ers were just coming back touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. But the poise and the person that set the tone for the Baltimore Ravens to hurry up and get that Super Bowl win was Joe Flacco plus Anquan Boldin. And so Anquan was the centerpiece for the Baltimore Ravens winning that Super Bowl. So I would think that Baltimore has to at least keep Anquan. Pay him the money that they can pay him, but keep Anquan Boldin, because if they do lose Anquan Boldin, that will be a major target that Joe Flacco will not have. And I want to show you the stats for Anquan Boldin. Anquan Boldin's season stats last season, he recorded 64 receptions. He led the team in yardage with 921 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like I said, this is a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver, and Anquan Boldin was there for Joe Flacco, and I just feel that the Ravens have to get a deal done with Anquan Boldin. And speaking of wide receivers, since I'm on that matter, we're going to bring up a wide receiver that I'm sure maybe some people know, but, I'm just going to throw it out there at you. Percy Harvin. Does anybody know Percy Harvin? The wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, where apparently he wants out. The reason being the contract. He wants Megatron dollars. Now, if you know Megatron signed the contract last season were $132 million. So Percy Harvin wants Megatron money. And I want to know, guys, what you feel about Percy Harvin wanting this Megatron type money. So, if you can, after this is over with, go onto YouTube, leave comments, hit me up on Twitter at ehicks23, and let me know if you think Percy Harvin deserves that Megatron type money. Well, I'm going to show you some stats I'm going to show you Megatron stats, Percy Harvin's stats, and of course Mike Wallace's stats, and Dwayne Bowe. So let's look on the screen right now. Okay, Percy Harvin's stats. Alright, in the 4 seasons as Percy Harvin has been with the Minnesota Vikings, he has yet to register 1,000 yards in the regular season. His best 2 seasons were when Brett Favre was there in 2009 and 2010. Now, to me, with Percy Harvin not having a 1,000 yard season in his 4 seasons, that's kind of low from having Megatron type of dollars. I'm going to present my case furthermore. Let's look at Calvin Johnson, aka Megatron's numbers. He's been in the league 6 seasons. In his 6 seasons in the league, he has registered 4 1,000 yards receiving seasons and 3 double-digit touchdown seasons. Let's look at another wide receiver, Dwayne Bowe. In his 6 seasons, he's had 3 1,000 yard receiving yards and 1 double-digit touchdown reception. Let's go on to another one.